Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pickles and Bacon Show Rewind. I am your hostess, Pickles, and that dude right there in the red is my brother. Say hello, brother.
Hey, brother. Oh, wait, wrong show, wrong show. Hey, Pickles.
Hey, why don't you tell everyone what we're reviewing today if my background photo has anything to say?
Well, if you could see her background photo, we are doing the always wonderful, the truly talented, the amazing, and that's enough about me, Miss Shania Twain.
On today's episode, we are reviewing okay, look, disprove me what I'm about to say. But I literally created a new category specifically for this album because I want to do our album of the year of 2024, and this is on my list because this album is maybe one of 10 albums that I can fully listen to from beginning to end, no skipping, no stops, no shuffle, no nothing. This album is it. What do you think, Deke?
What you said, exactly what you said. Like I can't add anything to that because that's truly true. That's true.
All right. So before we get into it, what do you know about Shania Twain or this album that you remember from the time frame that it came out?
Well, I have to say that I remember one of the things that stands out for me, and I'm not sure if it was from this album, but I know she did a concert where she sang with Backstreet, and that was, I believe, that was maybe around the time of this album. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember that concert. I also know that she was married. She used to be married to music producer Mutt Lang.
Yep, yep, that is very true. Yeah. So I remember the NBC concert where she sang almost all the songs off this album. And one of the songs she sang was with the Backstreet Boys. I think it was the song that she duets on this album with Brian Adams, but we'll discuss that momentarily. And yeah, she was married to Mutt Lang. So if you'll allow me to share my screen so we can get into it and we will discuss. Come on over. All right. Um, Come On Over is the third studio album by Canadian singer Shania Twain. She's on Mercury Records in North America, and the album was released on November the 4th, 1997. Similar to her work on its predecessor, The Woman in Me, circa 1995, Twain entirely collaborated with producer and then husband Robert John Mutt Lang. With both having busy schedules, they often wrote apart and later intertwined their ideas. Twain wanted to improve her songwriting skills and write a controversial album reflecting her personality and beliefs, and the resulting songs explore themes of romance, female empowerment, and they're also addressed with humor. I have to take a drink. Produced by Lang, Come On Over is a country pop album with pop and rock influences. The songs contain country instrumentation such as acoustic guitars, fiddles, and the pedal steel, in addition to rock riffs and electronic guitars. She released an international version on February 16th, 1998, with pop-oriented production that toned down the country instrumentation. Then Twain embarked on a Come On Over tour, which ran from May 1998 to December 1999. The album spawned 12 singles, including three US Billboard Hot 100 top 10 hits: You're Still the One, From This Moment On, and That Don't Impress Me Much. Come On Over received mixed reviews from music critics. Some appreciated the album's crossover appeal and country pop and experimentation, while others criticized the lyrics and questioned its country music categorization. At the 41st Annual Grammy Awards in 1999, Come On Over was nominated for Album of the Year and Best Country Album. The album reached number two in the US Billboard 200 charts while topping the charts in multiple countries, including Australia, Canada, and the UK. With sales of over 40 million copies worldwide, Come On Over was recognized by the Guinness Book of Records as the biggest selling studio album of all time by a female artist. It's the best selling country album in the US and was certified 20 times platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America in 2004. Retrospectively, music journalists praised the album for revolutionizing country music, both musically, visually, and discussed its influence on subsequent country artists. And that there is a brief synopsis of Come On Over. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right. So, that being said, Deke, did you have anything to add before we jump in?
Actually, I do. Now, I have a question to ask you pertaining to the cover. Which cover do you like better, the one behind you or the gray cover?
I like this one better. The other one, so I've heard the international version, and I don't like that one. I prefer this version of the album, the American version, the one that I know, the one that's tried and true, because this album is amazing. All right, so let's start out with track number one, "Man, I Feel Like a Woman." This is of course written by Mutt Lange and Shania Twain. This literally, to me, this song as the opening song sets the stage for what the rest of this album is. Like, she comes out badass with like "Let's Go Girls," and then you hear that heavy guitar riff and you know you are in for a treat. Like, her vocals on this song are amazing. It's got a catchy chorus, something that you can dance to, and then the music video was like the Robert Plant video. Is it the Robert Plant video?
Robert
Robert.
Palmer? Plant Palmer? Hold on a second. Who sings that one? Because I know exactly what song you're talking about. Your lights are on, but you're not home. Your
Exactly. Yeah.
mind is. Okay, that's all I'm legally allowed to sing, y'all. So,
Yeah. So, anyways, what do you think about this song?
what was the song again? Sorry, I zoned out
Man,
for a
I
second.
feel like the one. Man, I feel like a woman.
That song goes without saying. Like, it's one of the greatest, not best songs, but it's one of the more better songs on that album.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of songs. This by far is one of the
It's Robert
longer.
Palmer, by the way.
Robert Palmer. Thank you. This, by the way, is one of the longest albums I think I've ever reviewed. That has 16 songs on it. And they're all over 4 minutes long. Like, you get your you get your money's worth for these songs. Like,
Okay, see
the
right there. I thought this. I literally told this to Pickles the other night. I thought this album was shorter. When I was a kid, I could have sworn there was only 10 songs on this album.
It's not. It's always been 16, and each song, the vocals. Well, let me just talk about the vocals on the song. Her vocals on this song, with what she's doing, are so crisp and clear. There's no vocal fry, but she has a deeper sort of voice in every song that she's singing. But when she hits those high notes and does that little yodel, right there, just makes you want to get up and dance when you hear this song. All right, the next song, turning my page for the next song. All right. So, by the way, when I listen to this album, I like to listen to this album on shuffle. Um, and I'll tell you why here in a little bit. But the next song is called "I'm Holding On to Love." This one is by Mutt and Shania again. This one sounded like a country, like honky tonk type of like jam. Uh, Kind of reminds me like of a Jackson Brown song. Um, she's basically talking about she can't live without you all her life, and like it's a ballad, kind of, to me, thinking Mutt Lange for like helping her with this song or whatever. But it's also, I think this is a filler song, because the other songs are slowly building to get somewhere better. But this one, for it being a filler, it wasn't bad. I can, again, it's not one of my favorites, but if it's on, I'm not going to skip past it. What did you think about the song when you first heard it?
I kind of agree with you. I think this was a filler song. It wasn't one of the best on this album. I mean, there's literal better songs on the album. No offense, but this one was just like not it for me.
Yeah, in terms of it, like, being I mean, it's an upbeat song because there are only 4 ballads on this album, by the way, of the 16 tracks, so the other 12 are sort of up-tempo and things, this one, um this one's definitely a filler for sure. The next one is "Love Gets Me Every Time." Again, this one was written by, Shania and Mutt Lange. I noticed that the steel guitar in this song sounded a lot, really sounded, like metal. And then Shania's vocals on this song are so velvety. Um, Again, "Love Gets Me Every Time" as your quintessential like storytelling song. She's like, I wasn't looking for love. I didn't want to, be in love, but it ended up finding me, and now that I'm in it, this is my life. Like, it's becoming her personality.
Right.
um Again, actually, this one, for being a filler, I think is better than Holding On to Love. But that's just me. What do you think, Deke?
I agree with you. I really like this one. I really do. I think this one is right up there with the first song on the album.
I
For
can
me
agree.
anyway.
You
For me
guys,
anyway.
sorry. I worked a double at work, and I'm kind of like, but I'm here. All right. So, track number 4 is "Don't Be Stupid." Now, this is one of the ones that I feel like 2 and 3 are leading into. "Don't Be Stupid" is kind of like I wonder if she was singing the song to Mutt Lang. Maybe he was jealous, or some type of jealous lover. Because she's like, "Don't be stupid. I think I love you. You know that I love you. Not seeing anybody else, like, to even think about that is like weird." Um, but again, I wouldn't say that this is a like one of the big hype songs on this album, because I feel like at this point, after having heard "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," like, you got to be getting to the like a good one. So this one for "Don't Be Stupid," I would say it's my second favorite song off this album. Is it as big as "Man, I Feel Like a Woman"? No. What do you think, Deke?
I agree with what you said. This one, I mean, again, I'm gonna go back to what I said just a few minutes ago. This one again is not one of my favorites on this album because I do have some of my favorites. This one is not one of them, unfortunately. But yeah, it is a really good song on the album. I mean, for what it is. Um, like you said earlier, if it's on, I'm not going to change it. Like I love the entire album. So
Yeah. So the next song is "From This Moment On." This one is, of course, written by Shania and Mutt Lange. This is a duet with Bryan Adams, and the first of the album's ballads. This one, actually, for it being a ballad, I really like this song. To me, the song sounds like it could have been somebody's wedding vows. Like, when she opens, the first thing she's like, "From this moment, I have begun." And then I think Bryan Adams says, "From this moment, this is where I belong. From this moment on." Like, you can hear the progression of like what she says and what he says, and like the mashup of the two of them together is amazing. Her voice hitting these high notes again is like butter. To me, this is the second best song on this album. Do you agree?
yes and no. I think this is okay for me personally. I think this is my number one song on this album, and I'm saying this. I'm saying this wholeheartedly. This is one of my. It's my first favorite song on this album. The vocals are clean. I love her voice in this one. Bryan Adams, is that who you said it was?
Bryan Adams. Look, you guys. We're very picky about the music that we listen to. We are aware of who Bryan Adams is because he sings that song. Is it "Summer of '69"? I know that song. I could identify it. It's been on my playlist on Spotify. Do I actively go seeking Bryan Adams? The answer is no. So we don't know a whole lot about him, but we are aware of who he is. So we can't really justify a lot of what his singing is like, but we do know who he is. Continue.
Anyway, it's one of my it's like literally my first favorite song on this album, and there's more to come because there's like 16 songs on this album. But this like is my number one favorite song on this album. Seriously,
Oh
because as you
yeah.
said, it sounds like wedding vows.
Oh yeah. And my absolute favorite song is coming up, and like nobody would guess that this is my favorite song. All right, so the next one is Come On Over. This one I really like. This one again is one of my third favorite songs on this album. This one has such a like island feel because you can hear those like island steel drums playing in the background, and I can imagine like someone singing this like on a beach or something like that, where she's like, "Come on over, come on in," and so I like that when the beat of it is good. Um, it is an up tempo number. It is one of my third favorite songs on this album. Would I start the album here? The answer is no. What about you, Deke?
Well, I like this song too, and I'm gonna tell you why. To comment to what Harley said, it is a great song. But you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of something the Monkees would sing, like something that Peter Tork would sing, like the song "Come on in, nice to have you back, come on." That's what that sounded like.
Also, it would be see again. This is the stuff that I was talking about with Gabe, mashing up songs that you didn't think would fit together, but they would fit together. Do you know what I'm saying? Like turn
Yeah.
this into a duet with Shania and Peter Tork.
And you know
I'm
what
just
else?
saying,
Else?
y'all.
I could actually see Peter Tork singing with her.
I'm just saying. I'm just thinking about it. Like, if someone knows how to mash up songs or whatever and wants to help me out with this, let me know because we can figure it out. All right. So the next song, track number 7, is called "When." Again, this is written by Twain and Lang. This one is a cheeky song because she's like, I know that she has some like references, like if John's getting back with the Beatles and they're going out on tour. When will we wake up? When will we break up? Why did we make up? Things like that. When money grows on trees. It's a very whimsical song. I get what she was doing with this one. This one was like another filler, I think, for me, just to like throw something on the album to make it stick. Not a favorite, but again, not completely like, oh, I don't want. This is not my song. You know what I'm saying? Thoughts, because especially she mentions Beatles and I think Elvis in this one as well.
Hold on. Well, I happen to like this song. This is my second favorite song. And she hasn't mentioned Elvis yet. There's one Pacific song where she does mention Elvis. And it's
It's
not this
coming.
one. It's not this one. But I do like this one because like it to me it's one of those funny campy songs that you wouldn't expect somebody like her to sing.
Yes, yes, that's what I was looking for. It is very campy, something that you wouldn't expect her to sing or sing it in such a humorous way that's like, "Oh yeah, like it makes sense." Like to me, like you just mentioned the word campy and I didn't even think about that. But now that you mention it, you're like, "Oh yeah, it is hella campy."
Because think about it. You think Shania Twain, you think like songs like "Come On Over" or something like that, right? You don't think of this song. So like hearing her sing this in like a campy, funny kind of way, like I didn't know if she was doing it making fun of him or poking fun at herself, but like it was hilarious. I was sitting there laughing the whole time I heard this song
Yes, yes.
because
All right,
it's a funny
go ahead.
campy song. It's a funny campy song. I love it. This is my third favorite on this album. As I said, Harley's already like I mean Pickles is already like 4 songs in of her favorites. This is my third favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Like I agree. Everything that you said, you probably said that way better than I did because it was like, but I get you. The next one is whatever you do, don't. This is another up tempo Twain and Lang song. Um, this one now I've listened to this album so many times, but this was the first time I've listened to it for the intentions of doing the podcast. So there was a lot of stopping and starting and like replaying because I wanted to make sure that I actually am listening and that nothing's distracting me so I can hear the words. But actually, I could hear Def Leppard singing this song. Um, in case you didn't know, Mutt Lang is a heavy metal producer and predominantly worked with Def Leppard. He's like Rick Rubin, who first foray out into like the country and pop was with Johnny, excuse me, with Johnny Cash. Um, is it the Americana album or the American?
It's called the American album. It's the American album. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Where he sings "Hurt" and just literally takes that Nine Inch Nails song and completely makes it his own. Anyways, we're not discussing that. Johnny Cash will be a later episode, I promise. Probably sometime in October, we will have a Johnny Cash episode. I promise, because Johnny Cash. Anyways, this is also a fast love story. I noticed this one sounds there's a fiddle on here that sounded like a heavy metal guitar that I was really impressed with this song, and this is a faster sort of a love story.
Wait, which one are we talking about? Are we still on the same one that we were just talking about?
We're on number 8. Whatever you do, don't.
Okay, so first of all, before we get started, to comment to what she said about Mutt Lange working with Def Leppard, he's also worked with the likes of AC/DC, Def Leppard, as was mentioned, the Michael Stanley Band, Boomtown Rats, don't know who that is, Foreigner, somebody that I really like, Michael Bolton, The
Okay.
Cars, Brian Adams. Oh, no wonder he's on this.
That makes sense. And because he's Canadian and Derek and Shania Twain is
And
Canadian.
here's somebody that we both know, because I'm a huge fan of this guy. Like, if anyone knows me, they'll know I'm a huge fan of this guy. Huey Lewis in the News. Love Huey Lewis.
Oh yeah.
Uh, um, Billy Ocean, Celine Dion, whoever that lady is. I've never heard of her in my life.
She will also be on this podcast.
Some chick named Britney Spears.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I'm gonna throw that song in here because I can see that Britney Spears song that they produced and wrote on Britney's second album, Oops, I Did It Again. The minute you hear that song, you're like, that's Shania Twain. I can hear Shania Twain singing that song. We'll throw that in as a bonus at the end of the song.
Anyway, and he also worked with The Core, Maroon 5, some lady named Lady Gaga, who's in The Shallows, from what I heard.
Yeah.
See what I did there? Nickelback and Muse. Don't know who that is. I've never heard of either of those two groups.
I feel like I know who Nickelback is because I've heard of it. I think like on when TRL was on. Could I name you a Nickelback song? Absolutely, absolutely the fuck not.
Most of the people in
No.
here, though, I know who they are, like AC/DC.
Yeah, I know AC/DC,
I know
Def
Foreigner.
Leppard.
I know Foreigner. I know Michael Bolton. I know Cars. They do the Pork Pie song, aka Drive. Refer
What's
to Peter Kay if y'all don't know that reference. For those people who are watching, like, what is that? Check out Peter Kay misheard song lyrics. All I'm gonna say. But anyway, yeah, this was I mean, again, this is a pretty decent song. Like, it's not one of my favorites, but like, it is a great song for this album. It truly is.
Yeah, and then really quick going back to the artist. Yes, Def Leppard will be on the show. I am a huge Def Leppard fan. Didn't get to see them. I have not got to see them live, but honey, we
Yet,
plan on rectifying that
yet.
as soon as possible because I will get to see one day. I will see Def Leppard live. Um, P.S. Def Leppard, if you're listening, please invite us to the show. Thank you. We love you. Mwah.
Also,
All
Brian
right.
Setzer, if you ever come back to Texas again for your Christmas extravaganza, hit us up.
Yes, Brian Setzer will be on the show as well. All right. So the next thing is track number 9. If you want to touch her, ask. I feel like every female album that I've listened to has a sort of hidden naughty track on it. And this one is sort of that like naughty, cheeky, like sexy time kind of song. Um the it sounds a little bit of like a rhythm and blues, like country type of song to me. Um uh One of the lines I picked up in was you got to start from the heart. And then the song, I feel like the song would be a good thing to like kind of while it's an up tempo song, I could see you dancing with your partner and like, doing it kind of slow, like thing around your house or whatever, but it is an up tempo song. Again, it's another filler song on the album. I wouldn't be upset if it came on first or started the shuffle because it is a good song. Again, not one of my favorites.
I have to agree with you on this one. Like this one again, not. I know you're gonna be a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, he's done talking. I'm not done talking the album. It's just not one of my favorites. I really this one. It's like hit or miss for me, but like when I listen to it, hell yeah, it's on the album, so of course I'll listen to it.
Yeah. So the next one is "You're Still the One." I feel like everyone thinks that this is what this album is about. You're Still the One. This is the second ballad. It's another love song. It's clear to me that she's madly in love with Mutt Lang and saying, you're still the one. You're the one that I run to, the one that I belong to. Like, that'll never change. Like, they had a deep bond, which I really appreciate. I like this song. Um, it's another song that, um, again, like, you could do a really slow dance to, or like, I could see someone doing this at a wedding, for sure with this song. Um, as far as that's concerned. Do I think it is one of the good songs on this album? It's not one of the best songs for me, I think, on this album. But of course, I will listen to it. I will sing every song because I know every song. I know every lyric on this song. Um, what do you think about this one?
We're doing you're still the one I want. You're still the one, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so for me, I have to say, and I'm gonna. I don't know if I'm bringing any new ground here. So to anyone watching, you might. I think a few of you might know this one. I'm kind of a hopeless romantic, so I kind of like this one. Like this is one of my. This one I would put on my favorites list. I would put this one at like number 10 on my favorites list. Because to me, this to me is a great song, and I freaking love this. You know, again, like I'm the mushy type, so this song really spoke to me.
yeah.
I had that Sean Hunter from Boy Meets World moment. Just Shania, this song, it speaks to me.
All right. Track number 10 is Honey, I'm Home. When we were talking about this in the beginning, when we were reading from Wikipedia, by the way, don't at me. I'm just reading what we shared earlier was what was written on Wikipedia. Again, it doesn't reflect our opinions or views of this album. It was just we wanted to give you a little bit of background for the album and the things that we're reviewing. This is one of those humor songs. Like, I really like the message. She's like, "Honey, I'm home and I had a hard day. For me, I love it." She was like, "Get me a cold one. Fix me a drink. Rub my feet. Rub my back." I also noted that this song is this album's 9 to 5. Like, again, talking about songs that you can mash up, like literally 9 to 5, and then this one. Like, okay, I worked 9 to 5 at the office. My boss is taking my dreams. And I'm never gonna make enough money or whatever. And then the B side to 9 to 5 is "Honey, I'm Home." I had a hard day. Get me a drink. Let's take the dog for a walk. Give the dog a bone. Rub my feet. Rub my back. The car won't start. Her hair went flat and she's starting on her period. Like, heaven help, like, the world, because it's not gonna be like her day is completely ruined. Again, another humorous song. Definitely a favorite on the album. I don't think it's a big song. I feel like it should be a big song, but it's not.
I think this one was a missed opportunity song. Like to be honest with you, like this one had potential to be a single, and I don't think it ever was. And this one, oh my god, like as you just said, like this is a great song, like an almost a 9 to 5 mashup. And I think right here it had so much potential to be a single, and if pushed correctly, it could have gone to number 1. But
Yeah, it could have been like I could have seen this one like having a really funny video attached to it. Had they really taken the time to um do their homework, this could have been a great music video. Kind of like the Goodbye Earls and like kind of like the Thrillers, you know what I'm saying? So moving right along is track number 12, That Don't Impress Me Much. All right. We came up at a time when like TRL first started. And TRL was started because of Hanson with Umbop. Kids were playing this song so much and they wanted like the music videos or whatever. So that created TRL. When I tell you, when this song That Don't Impress Me Much was released, and she was in that little leopard print outfit with the cape, she was giving us a like drag queen cape moment with the little midriff, and she's in the desert and all these hot dudes, and this is another humorous song. Baby, let me tell you, these people were ripping her to shreds. Like, this isn't country music. How could you be dressed like this? This isn't like, even if you don't listen to this song, that don't impress me much. The video of this song is amazing. It's hilarious. This song on its own, just listening to it, like if you've never seen the music video, it's a great song. It's another humorous song. She's giving examples of like, oh, the little things that dudes do, they don't impress me much. I just want you to love me and things like that. But when you see the video to this song, again, it's like, man, I feel like a woman. This video took this song to a whole nother level. Took it to a whole nother level that you can never imagine. She's like, what do you think, you're Elvis or something? Whatever. That don't impress me much. Like, move on. Move on. Cause
That
like she
alone,
was
right there, is the reason
roasting
why
these
I love
dudes.
this song.
She
That
was roasting these dudes and she looked great in her costume. She rocked the hell out of that cape in the hood, and her bright red lipstick just, oh my god, amazing. And of course, her vocals and everything the song is about. But I'm just saying, like, the video for this song, like, go watch the video. Go watch the video for sure. But as we're not talking about the video, we're talking about the song. This song on its own, if you have not seen the music video, would this be one of your favorite songs from this album?
you already know because of the Elvis mention.
Yes, of
You
course I
already
know.
know the answer to that because of the Elvis mention. Like seriously,
Exactly.
and look, I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? Even if you're not an Elvis fan, let me be real with you a second, okay? Shania Twain is an amazing artist. No matter what your thoughts about women in music is, I think that Shania Twain, and I'm gonna say this again at the end too because I want y'all to get this. She can go, she can be both country and rock and roll, and I think this song was like in between that of a country rock song, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
naturally, I'm gonna put this in my top 10 best songs on this album. Like I love this one, and her ability to make it sound like it's a rock and roll song. Like, come on now.
Yeah, for sure. And like I couldn't agree with you more. All right, so the next one. Y'all are gonna be surprised by this, but track number 13 is Black Eyes Blue Tears. This is my favorite song off this album. Period. Bar none. As much as I like the up tempo songs, the big ones like that don't impress me much, and man, I feel like a woman. This song right here, you want to talk about female empowerment? She says, I would rather die standing than live on my knees begging please. And then you get that heavy drum beat, and she goes into the chorus. I know this song is about domestic violence and abuse or whatever, but that line is so powerful. It's what I feel like, sorry, my nose is stuffy from allergies. I feel like every person who's been in some type of an abusive relationship or some kind of toxic environment can understand those words. I'd rather die standing than live on my knees begging please. Black eyes, blue tears. And and she sings it, and this is not a slow song. This is an up tempo song. It's a song, and I can see why she did that, because the message of the song is so important and so powerful, and it needs to be heard. This cannot be like a ballad, a dark song, or whatever. So she took this song that could be potentially dark, and she gave it that like push that it needed to get her to be like, and those are the kind of songs that I like. Deacon, I mean Big Quan, what did you think about the song?
First of all, I want to say this. Um, to your domestic violence message that you were just talking about. First of all, I want to say that it's never the answer. And if you know anybody who's going through that, please get them help. There's hotlines that you could call for that. I highly stress that. Number one. Number two, I want to say this. This is another missed song that I think could have been a great single. Maybe not so much with a music video, but I could honestly see this being a single. Like this song, like it had me crying, and it takes a lot for a song to make me cry.
Yeah, to me, this song is right up there. Like, if they can make a music video of Concrete Angel, this song could have had a music video, and it could have had an amazing video, like one of those storytelling videos, because you get the storytelling with Concrete Angel. Which, look, normally I don't review singles, but for the sake of this podcast and for the sake of music in general that I like, we will review that song from the album, Concrete Angel, um, because I think, again, songs like that tell stories, are important. They're so important, not just musically for the vocal abilities or for, promoting an album, but it's so important for, female rights and children's rights and the rights to those that that don't have their voice or can't use their voice or think their voices as not being heard. Um, so I just wanted to say that. But for Black Eyes Blue Tears, this right here is my jam.
And can I also say one last thing before we move on? I also want to say this. With what you said about Concrete Angel and all that stuff, let me just say this. If you hear this song and it doesn't make you cry or it doesn't make you feel some type of emotion, you're the person she's singing about.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right.
Dispute
So
me.
before we all start crying and getting all in our feels, the next song is called I Won't Leave You Lonely Tonight. This was the third ballad on this album, and this one was also my favorite. I love when she's like, midnight in summer. Like, she's like setting a scene of her being with, Mutt Lang, I imagine. And she's like talking about the air so much cooler, and she can smell the jasmine in the air, and they're dancing. But also, this one has this very unique backing track to it that has this like, I feel like it's an accordion mixed with some sort of piano where it's like da 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 da, and so you can be like, wow, where like it's a country song for sure, but like I could also hear the song being in like Spanish or like a Spanglish version, because this one, I Won't Leave You Lonely, definitely in my playlist. Definitely one of the best songs on this album. Did you like this one?
I did actually. I really truly did. This one is, as you said, it's. I think this one's a standalone song too. Also, it deserves a single of some kind.
Yeah, I noticed that Black Eyes and Blue Tears were not one of the official singles from this album released. And I think those really should have gotten their moment, but I'm giving them their flowers here. The next one is Rock This Country, which is literally what she's doing with this album. She's making this country album a rock and roll album, and of course with the help of Mutt Lang, her husband or whatever.
At
Again,
the
this is
time, her husband at the time.
at the time. Again, this is something that I could see Def Leppard like being the backing track on. This one had a very heavy metal guitar, the fiddle and the steel drums in the back. Definitely one of the best songs on this album. Like, this one was like right up there. For this album. Um, she's like the opening part. She's like, I woke up this morning with a buzz rolling around in my brain, ma'am. Man, share that buzz with me because like rock this country. I'm there, girl. I will show up in my Texas cowboy boots and like my jeans and be like, I'm at the Def Leppard show, y'all. What about you, Deke? Do you like this one?
I did. I really did. This one was a rocker. This one was a rocker. Like she, excuse my language, y'all. I'm about to say this. She put her whole wop in this damn song.
For sure. She for sure did. Yeah, this one was a good one. I could literally see her singing this song with like Def Leppard or like ACDC behind her and still get the same thing, still get the same effect that she wanted. This one, it's a good song. All right. The next one is song is You've Got Away with Me. It is track number 16. It's the album's fourth ballad. This one's a slow piece. It's got soft drums. The guitar sound wispy, like a Spanish guitar. Um, this one I don't think got enough attention as far as one of the slower love songs on this album because I think that From This Moment On stole this one's thunder. This one, You've Got Away with Me, is better than From This Moment On. I'm sorry, I said what I said.
You ain't
And
lying.
to
You
end
ain't lying.
and to go through all of the emotions that we did, like from the emotional empowerment high of man, I feel like a woman, and then going into that don't be stupid, I love you, to then going into uh you're still the one, and then honey I'm home, things like that, and then don't impress me much, like the big ones, and then you start getting the heavier tracks, and then we wind down with you're still the one. Perfect ending, perfect beginning, perfect middle. There's This album again is one of the albums that I can play from start to finish, listen to every song. I always, of course, love to listen to everything on shuffle, because you can never figure out what's coming next. But for the purposes of this podcast, I listen to them each individually as they're listed from track 1 through 16. It's perfect. It's perfect. All right. So now that we have given our
And
critiques
just
and
to
we can.
add really quick, sorry because she didn't give me a chance to say my piece, but just to add really quick, this song too is also a good one. I also realized that this song is on the Notting Hill soundtrack, which is a really great movie. If y'all have never seen that movie, it's with I want to say Julia Roberts and oh my god, why can't I remember his name? Why
Hugh
can't I
Grant.
remember that guy? Thank you.
All right. So we did say that we were going to review the Britney Spears song that's on Oops I Did It Again. So if you'll give us a quick minute, Deke and I are going to step away. We're going to listen to that song and we're going to come back because we're going to add it as a bonus here. So give us a second, okay? Be right back. And we're back. So we listened to the track that Shania Twain wrote for Britney Spears called Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know. I remember when this song debuted on TRL. And when you even now listening to it on the album without having seen that video for such a long time, I can be like, that's a Shania Twain song. Literally the opening, the like fiddle playing and the way the lyrics are, definitely a Shania Twain song. What did you think listening to it now on the playback?
I thought it was great, but well, let me preface what I'm about to say by saying that Pickles just shared an AI which didn't do it justice. But after hearing it, like you could hear where the Shania Twain uh, what do you say writing would come in because like
Yeah, her
it
and
does.
her and Mutt Lang wrote and produced this song, but like you can hear it, like the everything about it, even the way Britney sings it. Britney chooses to do like the baby voice and like really kind of nasally song, but I feel like even Britney's voice on this album is a lot deeper and raspier, the way than she normally sings, because that's how Shania sings. But also, I think that Britney was a perfect person to sing the song because Britney is country. Now, when Miss Spears makes a country album, I'm gonna need for her to to include this song on there. Um, I was looking for clips to see if Shania Twain has ever sang this song. Because I know a lot of songwriters, when they sing the song, when they write songs for other artists, they end up singing it. For example, the Adam Lambert song, "What Do You Want From Me?" That song was written by Pink, and Pink did release a version of her singing that song, and it's amazing. And and you're like, yeah, that's definitely a Pink song. You're like, you hear it, you're like, yep, that's a Pink song. That's a Pink song.
And
It's
the
the same
Beatles
with this
with "I
song.
Want to Be Your Man" for the Rolling Stones, they did that on the Hard Day's Night album.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they wrote a lot of songs, like you can pick them out. The only one that stumped me, that I was like, I don't get it, is John Lennon writing "Fame" for David Bowie. Like, I've never, Mr. Lennon, when have you ever sounded like that? Guess so? There's no way in hell that you sounded like that, sir. Like, I know that you wrote that song or whatever, and the backing beat or whatever, and Bowie's vocals are amazing on that song, by the way. Of course, we will be reviewing Bowie on here. Like, come on. Are you serious? But, like,
But here's
out
my
of all the
question though: do you think he might have wrote that for Paul McCartney? Because like the way that it sounds and the way that Bowie sings it, kind of has a Paul McCartney-esque feel to it.
To me, a lot of, like, Bowie at this time, when he sang "Fame" and things like that, they were influenced by a lot of the black artists, that had been coming out, and they were like, they wanted to be on Soul Train and sing that song, like "Young Americans." Again, we'll speak about that in the David Bowie episode, but that's just one of the collaborations, like, blow my mind. Like, I could never in a million years, like, when you're like, oh yeah, this song that Britney Spears is singing, I know that's written by Shania Twain. I could pick that song out of a lineup knowing that was a Shania Twain song. Like, yep, it has everything a Shania Twain song should be. Like, you could definitely identify it. But I'm just saying that one particular song, like, the heck, who, what, where, why, when, and how. But more on that later. You'll find that in the Bowie Lennon episode down the line. All right, so anything else that you want to add before we get into our categories and discussions about this album?
I still wanted to know about, and I know that we'll get into this more when we do David Bowie, but I want to know if that song "Fame" was written by John Lennon with Paul McCartney in mind, because like listen to how Bowie sings it. You can't tell me that didn't have that wasn't a song that John was going to give to Paul had they still been in the Beatles at this time.
I don't know, but anyways, we'll save that for the Lennon and Bowie episode. All right, so the first thing is, do what is let's see, the top 10. All right, so what are your top 5 songs of this album?
Okay, top 5 songs. You go first. I gotta bring up the album again.
Okay, so number 5 would be Man I Feel Like a Woman. You know what I'm saying? Cuz that goes without saying. Because that's, an empowering anthem. My second one is going to be the Come On Over. I like the beat on the song. I think it's so, for it being on this album, it's so completely different. Like, this sounds like a reggae song. So there's that. My third favorite one on this album is the From This Moment On, this particular version, because the one that she released for the video was just her singing by herself, but I like this version, the one from the album. Um, and then my number in the number 2 spot is the I Won't Leave You Lonely, the ballad, that third ballad that's on this album. And then my number 1 favorite is Black Eyes Blue Tears, and I'm gonna give an honorable mention to Rock This Country.
Okay, so for me, my top 5 favorite in no particular order. I'm gonna actually start actually no in this particular order. So I'm gonna start with, of course, the song that I know that everyone's like, oh great, here we go, because there was an Elvis mention. It's That Don't Impress Me Much. That's my number one. First of all.
Solid, solid.
Okay, second, I'm gonna have to go with again because I'm a hopeless romantic and I love this song. Uh I think it was the one that I said You Got Away with Me.
Yes.
You Got Away. Like that one, because I'm a hopeless romantic, like I love that one. Like that one was a great song. So that was my number two. My number three is another ballad, surprisingly, and it's From This Moment On.
Yeah, I can see that one. Um, did you like this version on the album with Bryan Adams, or do you like the one with it's just her by herself?
The one with her by herself. My number four, I have to say, is Don't Be Stupid. That one was a good one. My number
That
five,
one again, I wish was had been a single with a video. That would have also been a funny video.
what was that, three or four?
You were number four.
Okay, because I was really interrupted. Don't interrupt, rude. My number five is okay, so this is a tough one to narrow down. So I'm gonna have to go with another song that not a lot of people talk about, which is one of my favorites on this album, and it's I'm Holding On to Love. It's my number five.
Solid. That's solid. That's a pretty good list. I like it. So, the next thing that I wanted to ask is, were you able to notice certain changes from like the beginning of the album to the end of the album? Like, this album is obviously humorous and funny and about love and life and things like that. But from the opening of Man, I Feel Like a Woman to You've Got Away with Me, did you notice like any changes in like the character or like her growth as a singer from track number 1 to track number 16?
Well, I don't. Well, I noticed some changes, but let me kind of clarify this by saying that I think it was more in the music style, because I think this album goes from being country, as I said, like it starts out with "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," which, of course, it's a country song or supposed to be a country song. But I think it goes from country to rock and roll in like one jump, because like literally like mostly everything surpassed the rock and roll on this album.
Yeah, a Man, I Feel Like a Woman has the country piano like organ thing starting the beginning, and then you get that dun, 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 that heavy guitar, and you're like, okay, yeah, we're in. I noticed some changes. Like, I don't think I noticed like changes as far as like character changes, but I noticed like, you can tell when she's in a playful mood or when she's feeling, funny, or she wants to see how certain words go together on this album, which is what I think she really accomplished, because not only could this be, I could also hear this album being a heavy metal album. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I feel like all of these songs could be adapted to be a heavy metal album. Def Leppard could sing these songs. You know what I'm
Well, I was just
saying?
gonna say, so could Hailstorm. Like I
Except
could see Lizzie Hale rocking the shit out of half these songs.
Yeah, except Man, I Feel Like a Woman, but still, like, I could see like a heavy metal band singing some of these songs. I'd also like to see someone like Shania Twain sing a Def Leppard song, like Bringing on the Heartbreak, or maybe doing her rendition of like Photograph or something like that, which would be amazing. But like, I would like to hear her sing Bringing on the Heartbreak. That would be an amazing country song, or like in Twain's type of style. All right, so the next category is, um does this album have a storyline? Like most albums, I feel like concept albums like Sergeant Pepper, Headquarters, Ziggy Stardust, like they're supposed to tell a story. Does this album tell a story?
I would say yes, and I would kind of say no.
I would say yes, in the fact that like it is telling a story about how Shania kind of is. I don't know if this is her personality or like maybe what she was feeling at the time, but I can see this being like a concept album, because again, the songs are funny and humorous, and I don't think I've ever heard another album quite like this, that has songs that are funny, that you can laugh at, that you can sing at the top of your lungs and know that they're campy and corny. Like, I couldn't name another album that did that. You know what I'm saying? Especially not from a female artist who, hold on. Especially from a country artist, like Shania Twain, doing this. So, um, I can, and the story to me is like, she's telling, like, I guess everybody's story, from domestic violence to, coming home from work and everything is just like, my hair went flat, or her dating like this guy. I never knew a guy who carried a mirror in his pocket or a comb up his sleeve just in case. Like, honestly, who do you think you're, Brad Pitt or something? Actually, in the Don't Impress Me Much song, but still. And then right down to the end of like, well, you really got away with me. Like, I found my Prince Charming, and you have a way with me. You really know me well, and we made this album, and there's that. Um, so the next category is, are there any guest stars on this album? And there are. There's Brian Adams and Mutt Lang. Even though Mutt Lang didn't actually sing on this album, but you can feel his presence, and you can tell that he's a part of this album. Would you say
Actually,
that's
the
correct?
actually the singer that sings from this moment on with her, it's not Brian Adams, it's Brian White because I'm looking at the song right here.
Oh, is it Brian White?
It's
I
Brian
thought it
White.
was
I'm
Brian
looking at.
Adams.
It's just from this moment
My
on
bad.
with Brian White. That's what it says. Hold on a second. Time out a second. You want to get her?
Yeah, hold on, let me get the dog. All right, I'm back. Back. All right. So, I'm gonna have to double check that, but I thought it was Brian Adams.
It's Brian White.
Um,
I'm looking right here. Like I have the checklist thing right here. It's Brian White. Hold on. Let me. Yes, he's right here. From this moment on with Brian White. That's what it says. Hold on. I don't know if y'all could see
I could
that.
have sworn it was Brian Adams. Am I tripping?
Um, like no, it says. It says "Come on over, North American edition," and then it says "From this moment on with Brian White." That's what it says. I even clicked on it. If you go to your Wikipedia and you go to check listings, it tells you who's in it.
Hold on. I'm trying to bring it up right now. Let's see. Yeah, Brian White. Why did I think it was Brian Adams? Am I tripping? You guys, I take back everything I said about that song. I do not know who Brian White is, and I thought it was Brian Adams. My apologies. Anyways, and then, so what do you think from this album is the GOAT of this album? There's only one right answer.
That don't impress me much.
Man, I feel like a woman. That's literally the GOAT and the MVP of this album. Can you agree with that?
Yes. Sorry, hang on. I'm trying to see what this guy Brian White has done. I've never heard of anything that he's done.
You guys, I could have sworn that was Brian Adams. My bad. I stand corrected then, because I have
He
no
had an
idea who
album that
Brian.
I've never heard, and it says it was big in 1996 called Between Now and Forever. I've never heard this album, and I'm a huge
Never heard
fan
of
of,
it.
of artists like this. I've never couldn't name you one song on this album.
Exactly. Anyways, so the MVP and the GOAT of this album, can you agree, is Man, I Feel Like a Woman, and That Don't Impress Me Much.
Yeah, I can
Bacon?
agree with that.
Yeah, same. All right, so the last thing is, if you could sing on these songs or be on this album, what would you be? What would you sing? Give me a story. Give me ideas.
I have to go with a song that I thought was really a great song again because I'm saying it again. I'm hopeless romantic, so I'm gonna have to go with "You're Still the One." I would sing on this album. I would play the guitar on this album if I could, maybe even the piano. Who knows? But I would, if I could sing with her on any song, it would be that one. "You're Still the One."
I think I would probably be a one of the girls in the Man I Feel Like a Woman video, because like goals. Uh And because it's 2024, like she had the so in the Robert Palmer video, he has the girls in the black dancing behind him. And then this one, she has the guys in the black dancing behind them. But I want to be one of the drag queens in the back dancing with her on this song, singing this song, Man, I Feel Like a Woman, because like honestly, I fucking dig. But I would also be one of the side producers and be like, hey, listen, I know you want to give this song to Britney Spears and go ahead and give it to her. She's great. But, you know, think about um singing the song Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know for this album. I could see that song, Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know, on this album. The
Yeah.
Britney Spears song. I could see it fitting in here with this album. All right. So that concludes our rewind and discussion of the Shania Twain album. Come on over. Deke, overall, what do you think about this album? Do you think this album is playable? Could it be something that you listen to over and over and over again, at least, a couple times a year?
Is this the rating portion of the program where we're gonna rate the album?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, I would listen to this again. Most definitely, it's Shania Twain. Like, come on now. As far as rating, I'm gonna give it higher than the Dixie Chicks album. This is gonna be controversial. I'm gonna give it a solid 9.9 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I give this album, I can agree. I'll give it a 9 out of 9 only because like I said, I wish I could have gotten or get a Don't Let Me Be the Last to Know for the specific album. Um, because I would love to hear Shania sing it, or if there's any sort of a demo version of that song, I would love to hear that have been
Now, let me
released.
interrupt you really quick right here. There's no live versions of her singing it.
I've never seen any live versions. I've looked all over YouTube. And subsequently, this song I think it was around 2000 or whatever, so it would have been like for the Up album, but I don't think it was on that album, and I don't think it's ever been on an album apart from Britney singing this song. Um, so um, that's the only reason why I give it. Would I listen to this album again? Absolutely. I listen to this album frequently. Like probably monthly. I listen to it all the time. I love this album. I'm it's so far out of everything that I've listened to this year. I am considering having this album. Um, I'm literally creating a special category because of this album for at the end of the. So what I want to do is, if you're listening, Bacon, I want us to come back on New Year's, and I want us to do a movie of 2004, a movie of 2024, a book of 2024, and an album of 2024 that we listened to, that we watched on repeat, that we loved. Um, and I want to do that to close out the year, and then
Now, time
like
out here. Does it have to actually be a movie from 2024 and an album actually from 2024, or could it be like an album from any genre, but we'd listen to it
it
in
doesn't.
2024?
No, it doesn't matter. It could be any album.
Okay.
Any album that you've had heavily on rotation on your Spotify or your Apple Music. Any book that was released that you like, that you've been listening to a lot in 2024, because we like Audible and audiobooks. It could be any movie that you liked, for that you keep wanting to see again, or that you wanted to keep watching. And so I'm giving it until the end of the year, when we come back and we do a little bit of our the review and recap of all the things that we did and how far we've gotten between when we first did our rebrand and relaunching of Don't Trip on Our Mushrooms, to now creating the Pickles and Bacon Show Rewind podcast.
And the amazing guests that
That's
we've had this year so
Yeah,
far.
and of course the amazing guests that we've had so far, Gabe, NT, Danny
Danny.
Atkinson. We will still have guest stars on the show, obviously, as they come or as the opportunities present itself. But in fairness, this podcast is about me and Deke. My brother, we're real life siblings. He and I
I've never seen her before in my life. She left cookies outside the car and made me follow her.
reviewing books, movies, TV shows, and things that we have loved our whole lives and want to discuss and review and unpack and things like that. That's what we want this podcast to be. That's what we've set out for it to be. I think this, of all the podcasts that we've actually done, instead of like, I think this is the best version of the podcast that we finally come up with, and it's a formula that I really love because we can talk about books and music and TV and all of that any day of the week, all day of the week. Like ready with it. As for the month of September, Deke and I already have picked four main things that we are going to review on this channel. And then, of course, we're going to have our little, side things. We have chosen as our big four what we have upcoming. We have Hank Williams. We're going to review the Buddy Holly story. We're going to be, well, not
We still
reviewing.
gotta do
So,
the GI Blues review, so
yeah, I'm going to watch GI Blue. So we have that coming up as well. Probably Wednesday, that'll be up. We're going to be reviewing and discussing the Buddy Holly story, the movie. Um, I don't know if the soundtrack is available on Spotify, but I have to see
it
that.
is.
We'll also be doing that as well. We're going to do the 1934 version of Imitation of Life because we need to, those movies like that are important to discuss. And then we're also, what was the other album? Did we pick the other album? I forgot what other album that we had picked that we were going to review.
Hank Williams. Didn't we say Hank
Hank
Williams?
Williams, Hank Williams,
Buddy Holly
the
story
Buddy Holly
soundtrack.
stories, Buddy Holly movie story and soundtrack. I still count them as two. Um,
What
Imitation of
else?
Life. And then, oh, I think it
Fun.
was this album. I think it was the Shania Twain album. So since we've already done this for September, we'll pick another one. But of course, as we listen to stuff that we like or whatever, if it's something that comes up, we'll make something, we'll try to incorporate it into a thing. So Deke and I will get together and try to pick something as far as albums, and then we're gonna start Law and Order hopefully soon, so we can start with the first season because we got a lot to cover, and there's a lot of categories that we have ready for SVU. We got it started, so we're hopefully gonna try to get that started um this month for the month of September, and then as we get into like October, we'll pick out what we want for that as well. But you guys, stay safe, love each other, be kind. Don't forget to like and subscribe, comment and share on this podcast. Bacon, do you want to take us out?
Before I completely give my goodbyes, I just want to say also one thing. We do obscure movies that no one really talks about. So just kind of bear with us if you're like, oh, you didn't do this movie, because chances are we'll be getting to it. Because like if it's more of a newer movie, we'll get to it. We're just trying to get all the obscure stuff that nobody talks about out of the way first.
Yeah, we like doing obscure. So, before we say goodbye again, we like reviewing and talking about obscure movies and things that we've never seen be reviewed on YouTube or anywhere else. So you'll see a lot of older movies that we're going to be reviewing. You'll see some movies that maybe nobody else thought of to review or haven't done that yet because there's a lot of important discussions that need to happen about certain movies like that. Such as one of the things that I do have on the agenda. I'm not sure if it's going to end up this month. We'll be reviewing the movie Terms of Endearment and its sequel, The Evening Star, which I've only seen maybe a handful of reviews or reactions to the Terms of Endearment, but I've never seen a reaction or review to its sequel, The Evening Star, which I think is a great movie. So we'll also be on the lookout for that. We're gonna you'll be on the lookout because I'm also thinking about doing something with Mildred Pierce. I haven't decided yet. And then of course whatever Bacon would like to add as well.
There are a
Thinking
couple
what
movies that there are a couple of movies that I want her to watch. I just don't know if she's gonna watch them. Which one of which is a Roy Rogers movie, and I don't know if she's too big on westerns, so that one's gonna be kind of a challenge. And then the other two are Sylvester Stallone movies. One's called Over the Top, and the other one's called Lords of Flatbush. That one you gotta stick out for Henry Winkler at least.
I'm willing to watch it for the sake of this podcast. Would I actively seek it out? No. The answer is no. But anyways, those are some of the discussions that we're going to be having, behind the scenes. But just stay tuned and keep an eye on what we're doing because we're starting. I'm loving this format that we picked. I'm loving our dialogues and everything that we happen.
When I
This
could
is
get a word in
literally
edgewise.
this is literally how we are in real life. But yeah, he's lying. He's always like that to me. Anyways, say goodbye. Say
Bye.
goodbye, Deacon. Bye.
Bye, Deacon.